Welcome Aquarius, this is Eleanor with Peaches by Starlight Tarot here with your August reading, and I'm going to pull a card for each one of your 12 astrological houses, 4 weekly themes, and then an overall card for the rest of August. It is all chaptered out below so you can skip to just the parts that matter to you most. And then my question to you Aquarius is, do you like my new way of doing it? This is a brand new format and I'm trying it out, so please give me the good, the bad, and the ugly in the comments below. And also if you need clarification on anything, go ahead and ask and I'll do my best to try and say it better. So we're starting out with your first house of outward impression and appearance, second house of immediate environment, third house of communication, fourth house of home, family, self-care, and fifth house, romance, creativity, play, and art, my favorite thing to say, sixth house of daily health, habits, and service. Sixth house. All right. We're that way. Sixth house. Still trying to get sixth house. There. Now, seventh house, partnerships and contracts. Eighth house of intimacy and letting go, dissolution. Ninth house, bigger picture beliefs, higher learning, philosophy, and wisdom. 10th house of career, reputation, tradition, and legacy. 11th house, your relationship to the world and larger groups. And 12th house, subconscious and the hidden behind the scenes. All right, so now let's get your first week, second week, third week, fourth week, and then an overall theme for August. All right, I'm going to straighten these up, take some notes, and I'll be right back. All right, let's begin here with your overall theme for the month. The one of leashes this is from a dog tarot deck. It's supposed to be cute, but this actually has a really powerful message. It's a card inviting you to take a look at the rules and the restrictions in your life and your relationship to them. So while, yeah, society has rules and laws that you can't do much about, you can always revisit and update the limits that you place on your own choices and see if they still fit you. Are they keeping you small and stuck, or are they unreasonably perfectionistic? Have you put limits on yourself that, like, at one time that really helped you achieve something or move away from something, and now they're just no longer relevant? So review is this sort of thing based on like current need or past fears. So your first week of August, you have the books. So it's a good week to gather research, to get any paperwork or documents you need in order, or to look closely at, to do some journaling, and to actually not just journal, but to read it back to yourself and find out what that can tell you, or consider a class or going back to school. It's a way you can really put two and two together on the role that restriction has played in your life, and how is it supportive and how is it limiting. It's not all one or the other, of course. It's very pro-con list feeling, or reading over some contracts or manuals to find out where some of these ideas came from, and did it say what you actually think it said. In your second week, you have the clouds, and this week might bring in a little confusion or lack of clarity, but that's the beauty of tarot, is we can find other instruments to help us navigate iffy times or unknowns like this. And then there's other times where we do have to get comfortable with a little bit of ambiguity and uncertainty. Can't know everything all the time, because sometimes that can be part of the fun. So in the third week, you do have the key, and so the smoke does clear. You can gain access to the truth, the answers that you weren't getting there in the second week. And so with this leashes card, you might discover the key to what is caging you, the key to release yourself from some setback. And I see you getting some critical insights at this time that really open up new possibilities for you. Especially, you got the Page of Cups there, new possibilities. So the fourth week you have the Clover, very nice. And so see if you can take it easy and access patience through that second week, because things really open up for you after that. It's almost like a cleansing storm that has to happen in order to wash something away that was weighing you down and to nourish the soil, because new energy is blossoming here. Way more optimistic feeling, recovery, or a lucky break that you can take advantage of if you aren't too focused back there on what the clouds had brought in. All right, so in your first house of outward impressions, you have the star in reverse. And so some may say that you don't seem like yourself at some point in August, most likely in that second week. You might be especially distracted or listless, and the clouds do indicate a setback, and so those closest to you are going to know about it. And the only way it would be more widespread is if you actually post about it, like on Facebook. So I do see a lot of empathy and space holding for you. And with that one of leashes, they do see you as remaining fairly grounded through a challenge. And that can be inspiring. And it does, it makes people more willing and available to help. So in your second house of your immediate environment and experience, you have the Four of Swords. So it makes perfect sense with that first week, especially taking some time to clear space just for yourself, to deal with what you need to. Your environment actually feels like your physical environment. Your mental one, but this is like your physical environment. It feels quiet, it feels peaceful, and it feels conducive for making good choices and discovering this aha moment that comes in that third week. It's meditative. These second 2 weeks, they're made possible because you're able to fortify yourself in stillness and allow the answers to arise, because you're not flailing around making the waters even more muddy. So this could be like a social media fast or just a staycation, but it could be why you don't really have a very ostentatious out there or bright outward appearance, because you may be hiding out just a little bit or just laying low. Because like the answer to the first house, how do people see you? The answer might be, I don't know, haven't seen them. But this is exactly what your mind and your body may need. So in your third house of communication, your thoughts, your mental environment, the Nine of Coins reversed. So during a time when self-restrictions are, let's say, on the exam table, it would make sense that you'd be concentrating on all of the ways that you don't feel free, all of the people's expectations that you feel like you have to live up to, all the people that you feel like you owe something to, whether you do or not. I feel like you're maybe on the last bit of summer vacation and you're strategizing how to not go back to work, or how you'll escape it soon, or what that escape route is, or what resources you haven't taken advantage of to propel yourself further into your independence. Honestly, your mind does not look like the most comfortable place to be in the first 2 weeks, but you discover your answer and it helps you remove the chains of self-doubt in that third week. And then when you do that, you remove that mental restriction. The universe meets you halfway with that clover energy in the fourth week, So in your fourth house of home and self-care, you have the Devil. And this makes me wonder, for some of you, how addictions or dependencies, kind of like either smoking or caffeine, sugar, approval, codependency, it can be so many things. But other things like that are what this leash is all about. Is it really about over-discipline rules? Like, okay, let's take food, for example. Food rules, is it really about your discipline, or is it wanting to live up to some cultural norm of a certain size? It's like, is it that, or is it like something else keeping you from wandering outside of a certain radius? So can you maybe not put your phone down long enough to make headway on a project? Or are you supporting someone that it's time they support themselves? And this also, for some of you, it feels like ancestral traditions that don't make sense for you anymore, or don't make sense for where you are in life. while these do feel like tough energies or dark energies to decipher, you do decipher them here by by the second half of the month. And you achieve your route to freedom because you're taking this time out with that Four of Swords and being honest with yourself with that book energy. And sitting with the uncomfortable information that you might have kicked up some dust, that kicked up like dust in that second week. And in the third week, it settles and you have your key, you have your answer. So I feel like once you unlock that mystery in the third week, your chariot arrives there at the end. In your fifth house of romance, creativity, play, and art, you have the Emperor, really, truly, completely taking your power back around your free time and how you spend it, who you spend it with, what boundaries you set around it. So where these kind of vampiric energies from that devil dependency don't encroach on it or like try to bleed through and soak some of it up. When it comes to romance, you might be really looking at your dating choices and how to make healthier ones to cut out people who want to be around you for the wrong reasons. And you realizing that what that's taking from you is not worth what you're getting out of it. And I also see you setting strong boundaries between your work and your personal time. Like even going so far for some of you as to like block your boss's number during certain hours or certain days. In your sixth house of daily health habits and service, you have the Four of Coins. And so, yeah, really doubling down on the self-preservation, self-healing, damage control. The Emperor is the ultimate energy of self-control in the tarot, and you're exercising that authority to protect your health. See, this Emperor stands between this dependency of the devil and then your house of physical health. And so you're seriously taking your power back from something that was hurting you. And I see that doing so, it can even save you money and protect your security in some way or prevent you from losing a job, something like that. In your seventh house of partnerships and contracts, you do have the Three of Swords. Pay extremely vigilant attention to your triggers because they hold the key to showing you where you are not free. And this, it's going to come up, that Page of Cups, allowing yourself to feel, tearing down this wall that you might have around your feelings. Because this information, as much as it might hurt, it has to come in because that's the information you need to find this key. So your triggers, holding the key to showing you where you are not free. Seriously examine things like the unspoken fine print of your relationships. And for others of you, check the fine print of actual written contracts. This is all about finding that teeny tiny crumb in your shoe that's making every step painful. The invisible needle in your side. It's like you can't address it, you can't rewrite it or renegotiate it until you find it and you name it. So right here is the epicenter of all this. X marks the spot, as it were. All right, I might have a little too much fun. All right, so in your eighth house of intimacy and letting go, the Page of Cups. And so this reading has been a little on the heavy and the serious side, but here's where you can let in a little bit of joy. I can see why you'd be resisting sensitivity and receptivity right now, cloaking and fortifying yourself down here, but the Page of Cups is your spiritual awareness. It's a deep truth dawning on you. And this is the aspect of yourself that the universe is going to hand this key over to. So you have to invite it to participate or allow yourself to sink into your heart, however you want to word it. But without vulnerability, you're not going to open your heart to receive your freedom. I mean, it feels a little bit like a pineapple. I don't know, so weird. A pineapple, prickly on the hand, but containing that tangy, sweet, yellow chakra of will and passion and self-esteem. This right here, your imagination trying to show you visions of what is possible, that's what you have to let off of this leash. So in your ninth house of philosophy and wisdom, Seven of Swords reversed. Hell yes, this is your key. Self-awareness coming online when you soften that wall and you allow the truth to penetrate your mind. The book is about higher learning and discovering hidden truth. And this one you've hidden from yourself, which is why you can only find it in this Four of Swords energy. Why you're turning your light inward with this star reversed. The truth isn't out there. It's in here. So in your 10th house of reputation and legacy, you have the Hierophant reversed. So it's all coming together now, totally bucking tradition and breaking free from some conventional construct that has limited your freedom. By the way, just for the record, in all of this, I am not talking about laws of the land. I'm talking more like tradition. Separation of church and state. So tradition doesn't count. That's just me talking. Don't listen to that. This month of August might be the hard work you do in private to unlock your path to freedom. But once you do it, it becomes part of your Phoenix Rising story that people are really going to know you for and remember you for. In your 11th house of friends and relationship to the outer world, you have the King of Swords reversed. So this is a reminder that you don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need anyone to co-sign or validate your reasoning. You may choose to give up something that everyone else thinks you should want, a prestigious job title, a distinguished board position, or an externally acceptable appearing relationship. You know, a relationship that makes you look the way you want to look to people. It could be the approval of a parent, but whatever it is, it has left you feeling cold and disconnected. And this devil energy of dependence feels as though it got to the level it did because it was socially supported. So taking your power back and declaring your independence from it with your Emperor energy there, there's people that might think that you're crazy. So remember that to a degree, they might be part of the problem or part of what led to the problem. So their input might be adding to those clouds. And it might even be having you questioning yourself at some point, but your soul knows the truth. And it can't unhear. It can't unhear it with that Seven of Swords reversed and the Page of Cups. So finally, in your 12th house of what's hidden behind the scenes, the Ace of Cups. Didn't I tell you? Maybe I didn't. Unconditional love. You are totally supported by, bathed in, couched in, backed by love. It is the unstoppable current that's blasting you out of your own way. It's washing this illumination ashore. Dropping hints to you with that Page of Cups. It's protecting you with that Four of Coins. Empowering you with the Emperor. Bursting through the cracks of your foundation. Your contractual foundation. Creating that discomfort in the Three of Swords. Unseating and usurping your critical mind, that reverse King of Swords. So that leash cannot stand up to its power. Not beyond this month. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. And if it helped at all or was informative to you, please let me know by hitting that like button, and I'll talk to you next month. Thank you.